Everybody wants to turn what they love into something that they can make money off of and live off of. The problem is that a lot of advice online actually ends up pushing you away from what you love and more into creating sort of a soulless, at times anti-artistic venture, which I kind of find funny. A lot of people are like, oh, I really want to do art for a living, and then they end up implementing all of these steps that makes the exact thing that they wanted to do an impossibility based on like self-imposed rules or by blindly following the advice of people online who just do what they do to make money and to sell courses. The key is not applying endless advice to the point that what you end up achieving actually does not resemble what you wanted at all to begin with. It's funny how easy it is to start off wanting to achieve like absolute financial freedom through the arts and end up just kind of working as an Excel user, trying to like compartmentalize leads and do all of these sort of things with your art. But I actually did make a living out of my art, and I absolutely have nothing to sell you. Making it possible is as easy as, okay, I'm starting off now and I recognize what I want to achieve, and keeping that in the forefront of your mind the entire time. The second things become soulless in the way of automation, utilizing AI infinitely, watching a million Alex Hormozy videos, you begin to subconsciously lose track of what was pure about your initial intention. Don't get me wrong, you might end up successful, but you probably won't be successful in the way that you set out to be to begin with, and at that point, why not just go a more corporate path to start? It's not very appealing, but a lot of people brainwash themselves into believing that's what they need to do. My name is Brendan. I run a commercial audio engineering facility in one of Canada's biggest cities, and I've been doing it since I was 18. When I started off, I had not even a single cent in my bank account, but I did have a huge dream. I ended up overspending on debt. I got a loan from the government. I was using credit cards left and right to build what I thought would have been an amazing thing for the city, and to build something that I genuinely loved and believed in. Being young, I ended up hitting tons of walls, tons of boundaries, and I ended up getting involved with people that I otherwise shouldn't have. Upon constructing our first commercial location off the tail end of the pandemic, things were very slow at first. And even 3 years deep, things were still slow. By the time that things started to pick up, we had realized that the lease that we signed was actually extremely predatory in nature. We ended up losing our space to a very unsavory landlord. And it was at that moment we could have either decided to pivot into becoming more corporate, decided to pivot into becoming more optimal, or double down for the absolute love of the art. Because remember, you have to keep in the forefront of your mind your ultimate goal at all times. And for us, it was never to become more corporate, it was never to become more soulless and maximize profit infinitely. It was to do something that we loved, and hopefully we build a life while doing it. So we decided to tear the space to the ground, take the wood out of the walls, and reconstruct a new location, and that's actually this one that I'm currently sitting in. It was double the pain too, because at that time we hadn't even cleared the debt of our first location, and we ended up taking out substantially more to build this one, and we had no ability to make money in between the demolition of the last space and the construction of this. We just had no ability to bring clients in. When we opened this space though, everything began to change. It was loss, and we never gave up on the initial intention of actually being pure to what we love and genuinely respecting the art above all else. We took many losses, we ran into many crooks, there were some predatory clients, there were people who kind of like did not want us around because we harmed their business strategy. But it is what it is. The great outweighed the bad by a humongous margin. We built something that was good for the community, that was good for us, but unfortunately it wasn't good for our wallets yet, until it was. And when it was good for our wallets fast. It could have been good for our wallets faster, but then it would have been bad for us, bad for our soul, bad for our community. And then we would have been wealthy with nothing. We would have been wealthy with absolutely zero sight of what we initially went out to achieve. We would have probably had a successful audio production facility, but we would have had one with absolutely zero love for our own craft. The thing of it is, you can lose over and over and over and over again, but that does not necessarily make a win unlikely. It just might mean that you're not ready for one yet. And as much as that might sound like some spiritual nonsense, the word of mouth, when you make folks happy, goes an extraordinarily long way. They tell their family, they tell their friends. Doing good by your community, like we recently were able to give back $100,000 of in-kind services. Mind you, we don't have the money, but we've given the services back out of respect for our community on our own time. We were recently able to hold an event for a young girl with cancer, fundraising for her out of our studio. Doing things like this will always bring you more spiritual joy. It will end up being financially viable for you as the word spreads, and it allows you to be good for the world while you do what you do. Look at somebody like Elon Musk, for example. He is a trillionaire, but he has to pay people to play video games for him. He has to pretend that he's one of us constantly just to feel any sort of belonging or happiness. There is nothing poorer than a trillionaire who can't even smile at himself in the mirror. As much as it might feel as though there are so many systems online that you need to follow to be successful in the arts, that's absolutely not true. You need to become wealthy reputationally. You need to make sure that the way that you are in your community is genuinely beneficial for the community, and that it comes from a place of pure intention, because if you do that enough times, it will begin to pay off. Somebody will know somebody who will make it happen for you. Over the course of this video, I've been able to put up videos and photos that I have personally collected over the journey of us opening these 2 facilities. And to be honest with you, there were very many times that even I felt, oh man, I could do this a different way. I could do this in a much more, you know, business focused way. But by loving what I do day in, day out, I've been able to make something that I love to say I made. And truthfully, I could have made something better once again, but I wouldn't have been so happy with myself when I went to bed. You need to remember that in audio and in art, at first it's nothing, and then at second it's nothing, and then at third it's also probably going to be nothing, but then it's something, and then it's suddenly everything, because everybody around you starts to tell others about you. It takes some time. This is a photo of me in my home studio when I first started, when I was maybe 17 years old. Everybody laughed at me. It was like, oh, look at these guys, they're making music, or, you know, they're not focusing on their education, or, you know, they're going in a direction that's relatively unconventional. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. What I am trying to say though is that everybody will laugh until they don't, because if you do your best to do good by the world, to do good by art, to make your community stronger, to build something that people love, eventually it will be undeniable. You can't submit to the endless beckoning call of people on the internet wanting to sell you small courses which make what you do more soulless in nature. I just wanted to make this video relatively quickly just to kind of go over the fact that it looks very frequently as though it's just not worth continuing in art, and that's by design. It makes sense to make you insecure in your craft so that, you know, you can buy more courses online, so that you can buy more books from gurus, so that you can, you know, submit to what you're doing and go work for some multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire somewhere else. But you need to stay on topic. You need to recognize, I love this. This is something that I wanted to do. This is something that I'll always want to do early on, and hold that the entire duration. Because if you just run in that direction over and over again, you'll probably smash through one wall, smash through another. Eventually, you know, you're gonna have a bad headache. It's gonna hurt, but you're gonna make it out of the other side, and you're gonna have touched enough lives in that process that you have people who back you, that you have people who can validate what you do, and in that you develop a community, and in that you develop a way to live. And that is genuinely an undeniably good way to spend your life. It makes no sense at all to decide to become an artist for a living and then give in to the endless charade, which is, you know, people online trying to tell you to go other directions over and over and over and over again. Focus on your craft. Become stronger in what you do, build community in doing so, and infinitely go in that one direction. If we gave up when that crook landlord told us, sorry, we want to not only take your space, but we also want to strip your tenant improvements from you, it would have been very well true that we wouldn't have been able to build a community in our city as beautiful as we have. It would have been actually dead in the water. And we've had so many nights here where we've done things that I feel have been extraordinarily important for people, and it has ended up becoming profitable for us coincidentally. So, case in point, I really just wanted to make a quick yap video on the channel. I know it probably won't do numbers or whatever, but I really just want for the few people who need something like this to have this and know that if you're passionate about creating art, that all you need to do is show up and create it and get in rooms with others who create it and try to quiet the noise of people telling you that it's an invalid career path. Try to quiet the noise of people telling you that it is a valid career path, but you just have to follow their one method and there's going to be a link to buy the method. You just need to create your art, develop the relationships, and keep going in a way that is true to your soul and is true to your initial intention. There is nothing purer in this world than the urge to create something that you love, and by letting the impurities of your external world erode what you initially planned to do till you can no longer recognize it, until you can no longer even recognize what you've built, that's never the way to go. Please don't think that that's the way to go. It's not always about using like Zapier to automate everything in your life. It's not always about optimizing meta ads. It's not always about using AI. It's not always about it's actually very infrequently about all of these things. It is about giving a client a refund when they deserve it. It is about building relationships that might otherwise appear unprofitable on paper. It is about constantly listening to music or looking at paintings or watching films that you love so that you have enough fire in your soul to continue in a way that you're happy with. Because if you're not happy, what is the purpose? If you've enjoyed this video, make sure that you subscribe. If you have anything that you're curious about regards to my studio, my life, or any audio engineering type of tips, I'm super happy to make another video, be it a short or a long form. I really do appreciate connecting with people in, you know, the broader arts community, and I think that if not for this, I wouldn't be happy. I really do love creating these videos, so if you want to support that, or if you're interested in seeing what I have to do next, yeah, please make sure that you drop a subscription. You know, smash that notification bell, and all of the other YouTube type of stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and don't give in, you know, just keep creating stuff how you feel you need to, because that is absolutely not something that you can buy online. That's not something that anybody can teach you. Your individual intention in creation, that is the strongest asset that you will ever have.